Hello, welcome. My name is Prince Melancholy Serua. Here we see where all things come from. To know where things come from, all about all things, not even a difficult thing. It is very easy thing to understand. But what is the problem which makes us to believe maybe it is very impossible, or it is not realistic. It is always moving around. So there we can see where all things come from. As you see, me or coach, everything around us is just combination of matter. So we need to know one thing about how much are contact are combined become the way they are. But before that, we see where all things come from, or where about all the matter come from. As you know that whatever it takes about the matter, we cannot destroy about their mass. Always there being in the universe. For example, this is called, if I could break it, still I could combine the mass will be the same. Or if I try to reading or showing, you see if I can combine whatever the matter will still be the same at it is. So first of all, why it is changed? It is changed because it is not its nature, no? It is just the contact that the matter that are contacted there is even just maybe cutting it, anything happened to the matter. Sometimes even just say if we combine this paper, if you can combine all those the ashes or the light photon, still the mass will be the same, and you cannot no longer use as the mass. So this it is not origin. So and we're going to see how the things are contact. So, in order to understand what is a contact can go up in three way. First of all, there's matter contact. Matter contact is just this material thing, and we see about especially in organism how organism contact with organisms, things which we don't know. We know what is the weak organism. Most you can say about the first contact, about when the matter contact the force. How about we know for sure our universe is not silent. So every time everything is in the universe is contact. All matter is contact will be the first anything. And the last one we see about it, mind contact. So by starting with matter contact, but I want to remember something before even procedure. You know that you can see maybe you guys are saying are too small, maybe some like subatomic or atoms, even maybe virus, bacteria. So this sort of thing of we see the way to think is because of our capacity of seeing. Just imagine that if we are human, we have the size, maybe our size increase about 100 zero. You know, maybe of the Google Plex, maybe if for 17 kilogram, 70 kilogram kg, increase about 100 zero, will become too big. Even the sun will see like it's too small, like subatomic part. So the way we see things depends on how we are. Oh, if we are too small, maybe inverse of the Google Plex, maybe even the thing which is not too small, it is too big. So everything in our universe it is little complex. So by starting with matter contact, as they say, my focus is about organism. So the difference between organism and organism we are search to what the matter will contact is something which come by nature, like the air or whatever. But also we focus about we search the food. But today we're gonna learn something which is very difficult, which is very different with the way we understand it. It is realistic about the life. So the food which you eat, it is by the real property, it is just weak organism. When I say the food is real, it is weak organism. For example, you see this beautiful flower or this meat. This I pick up or I cut it from the tree. It is they have whole control about how can get the air, water, and the maintain about stability of life. Life is just like the property, like other property of the matter. Matter can be magnetic, can have different property, but each property has certain stability. So the life which we know as it is about the stable life which is can control maybe like tree or human, which it can control everything about the whole body, which can get there, everything. So even I pick out this flower or maybe cut certain pieces from the organism or from the animal, still continue to consume the like air, water, and continue to decompose. So while if there's a presence of pieces of air and water. So why it is still but it continue to need. So when we eat about certain maybe about this meat, it is broken down. Nothing changes to our body cannot make the matter which need air will become organism. So when we eat about the weak organism, it's going to break down. We know that our stomach most of the time is broken down until it can be transported, even reach maybe to our cell opened by a ribosome. It is can enter according to our RNA, everything is allowed. We can say that this it is a combination of the small chain. For example, this meat is come from the protein, and protein, you know, when we broke down, it come amino acid. Amino acid is it's a chain. It is coding depending on this DNA whatever it is making. So when we eat it to our body, it is continuous coding according to our body what it we want. So what's happening in our body when we say about when we die, it means we lose stability about the way about to handle the whole body, about control every part. So if the food we eat it's not about weak organism, be if it's stable organism like pathogens or say bacteria or virus still become stable, no longer able to be controlled, but it is going beyond our body control. And that is where disease are come from. I mean, almost disease are come from. So weak organism, it is very important to understand the weak organism to understand what is life. Because without understanding weak organism, all we see like life is like come from the mirror, which is not something true. Because it is difficult to say even how the children come from or how about life it is continuation. Without, so it is like maybe all those age or all those age or some everything just before everything just is accepted as a weak organism. So we cannot maintain stability of this body because this body is not a nature. So there's time before there's time can become weak, we lose control. If we lose control, can be eating with other organisms. Say even maybe our stomach there's a lot of worms or bacteria going to grow the weight. At the end of the day, there was stability because I don't know how to rearrange it. This so matter contact it is very important to understand. But for all organisms, as what winter we cannot create post about the mind content. Mind content is very easy. So we know that the body of organism by nature is unstable, or means that it is needs certain content constant condition like air or if it is not yet at what is required, it will totally become stable. It cannot continue to handle. Say life is certain property, so you need to meet. So every organism, but when necessity have the first thing it has the mind control about that is the central control about the whole body, about the whole structure in every part what can get, every part can get. But what we see was why certain organisms are so intelligent, like maybe we are human or whatever, so that the mind have contact with external about external part. So those dependent on our body, like we are human being where our body it is very flexible, but we can use the hand, we can make different things, we can cut different things. So this will make our mind contact with a lot of things, and it will become very easy so to know about our external factors. So that's how we take it from much less depend about the shape or about what we eat. So if you look about organisms which who eat more about animals or hunting, it is very difficult. So the way everything that it is very easy for them to become like they are same intelligent those with difference. So they about the intelligence all about the mind depends on what we contact more on the frequency. So how the mind grow up and how about the size. Every organism I believe to me is very intelligent. Means what if can be not able to handle those about of central control where it will completely lose and they will completely become weak. I would say you cannot change from stable though to pass something from the weak, maybe bad or whatever. I think, but the main thing is you continue to become the weak result to be able to know that is why sometimes our organism others live very short. So by continuous we say about how about the force contact. Force contact is unlike mind, it is unlike the matter is material thing. Force contact is also an material thing. So when the matter comes, for example, if you take your hand with this, means that there is a force contact. Sometimes force can be too small, cannot be seen again, but it is as when I sit down, my weight, everything which I've done, I cannot avoid about the first contact. We know that the gravity pull each other. So no matter contact with the force, and the force is what make it the structure of the thing. For example, by our hand we can make different things, we can make maybe cup, table. So we can make it depend on what the force which we use to shape the thing. But how about stars organism? Even yours organism, we have the contact with the force which make us the way it is. So like we're human. So the way we are moving, the way we stand up, our body becomes stable, become stable, become easy to use. For example, if you see our legs when we move forward, then everything it is become more stable when our head, number of fingers we have. Those are results because of what we contact for. Matter cannot matter cannot contact with cannot contact without any physical, without any force, without any physical. For example, maybe if I contact to this cat, maybe yes, I eat it. It is a matter contact comes to my body, but the way I was chewing it, the way everything it is a force. When that or even those kind of teeth or everything, every all structure, it is a force which is just move or this is just make what the shape of the body look like. So like if take maybe organism which eat grass, the way their teeth, the way their leg, the way that everything is too stable. For example, people also believe about the God, whatever or anything. Create a thing which is very easy. That is a bit which very about how to use the way you can use it. So that is how things come that even maybe if you look there are more tree, every structure, everywhere that the lizard of the first contact means that the first contact, like the way we treat other non-material when we make a lot of things to use, maybe use more direct food. So even as the nature is the way, whatever we do, that's we are contact with the force. That's why we the reason we have different shape of everything are two different because they depend on different ways of contact. And if you want to understand about the whole contact work, how about all things that can work, but everything you need to understand about stability. Stability to what limit about the contact, why you think cannot contact, cannot grow, you cannot maintain everything. So everything has stability. As I said before, that life it is like it is property, as a property of matter, like other properties it has stability, so it can change from this way to this way. So what is stability? Stability, every property of the matter, say life itself it is just like other property. Every property matter is stable, means that it can change, but cannot change it. There are certain condition must be. And that condition is like stability. So like maybe your force is the way process energy, everything, it has certain stability. So but in order to understand maybe first stability, because the way we build up foundation, especially maybe in physics, maybe in math, total, we always ignore about stability, but stability is everywhere. For example, I know most of you say, why is this tomato 4 times water because of the density? But you know that this is just the way it is, does not any force. So why it is first, why it is fault? It is fault because this water is unstable, means that the molecule of the water are not bound, but not the solid. If say you can translate that road downward straight. So they are not just they are yes they are not bound together. So there's a free space. So that is why make it is float. So in the why it is not sinking, not because that it's water, it is certain stability that can push this upward. So stability can express all things. Maybe you say there's a law maybe about Isaac Newton. If Isaac Newton continue about the causes about the whole law of what is motion and about the gravitational, because all the things because of stability. For example, maybe if you push water backward, this water is not rose up, maybe there's a force which hold it. That is the gravitational force, and maybe about this the shape of this building. So always you want to push backward, it is not able to can all move straight. So it is create resistance, that resistance, what stability, when all kind of law of motion, like why things change, it is motion, second law, face to thing, why things stay, it is always because of the nature and our nature is of certain stability. Or why you say stability, and the way maybe without if I sit here, or if I take balloon I can fly, maybe that here. means that I'm thinking good. I'm not the first one who pull down even the air. So if I become more root Muslim, I will can just go fly. That's why maybe the way aeroplane fly or birds, that's a push it means they create a resistance, and that's the reason can create above the motion. So stability it can hit and everywhere. Like maybe say if you see this water, if we move it by certain most of the certain pressure with the force, it's great wave cannot move straight. I say what is not the rigid, so it's great like wave. So about the thing like subatomic particle, the behavior. So if you really understand about the stability, can be able to understand well about the quantum, or maybe about how about the Albert Einstein say about the thing with the mass being the space. So where high the space so stable can bend, or what is holding, maybe there's a wall or anything. So stability is just everywhere and cannot escape. If we understand stability, it will be very easy to understand a lot of things about how it works. So stability can be understand, maybe you can start about the understanding by the maybe in mathematics. So now we have very widely improved about in our mathematics. So you can use it in calculus, or you can use about the geometry. You can know about this shape, it is very unstable, this is very unstable because maybe because of certain pressure and everything, it has certain stable. Maybe if you decide it is not unstable movement, it is depending about the shapes and the arrangement of the body. So it can understand why this body it is very easy, it is very stable, maybe to standing up. Why if I not have 3 legs, so why I have 5 fingers, everything you can control about stability means that anything which we keep doing our bodies to stable, it is easy to do it. That maybe if you can say we go to create, think about what's unstable, about the way we are, that a very, very organism creature, maybe move, so everything is become stable. So stability is the way to control, but you cannot live forever because you cannot maintain stability all the time. Some time you can reach, you lose it, and still you become weak, then life can continue. So I want to conclusion say that I know maybe it's fair, to say I'm sorry, I'm not good in talking, I'm not good in presentation, but I believe if you listen very well, can understand there's something new, there's a way which you can learn things that it is, and it is very easy. So I work for this for this until when for now it's like this, it is a 7 years straight day and night, try to think that to improve. This is what I said yesterday at introduction. There's many things you can really learn about how understand the thing, the way it is about the contact. If we really know about contact, we can know a lot of things. It can be more easier for us. So I cannot do this is things myself. I need that's how I'm going to bring to you. I need like your cooperation. I try in every way that I can. It's really difficult. So if you are success to see this video, please can share or can just contact to my email, please.mail@gmail.com. I will post it to see, can contact me through social media like Instagram. I use Instagram in the server. So I need like your cooperation. I'm building together can change the way it is. So that's why I work all the day. I know that there's a way you can improve the thing as it is. So thank you for your time and God bless you. Have a nice day.